Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint Germain family. We're here after Paris Saint Germain draws 1-1 versus Lille in Ligue. So, 63% possession for Paris Saint Germain, 37% to Lille, 1.44 XG, 0.68, two big chances, 0. So, despite us playing a very weak starting lineup in this game and not having that many strong players in the squad, tactically, Lille didn't get a big chance, and we had two big chances. We should have won this game by like 1-0. But yeah, going into the game, Paris Saint Germain obviously with a very depleted lineup. I mean, Pacho and Chevalier are the only two starters from Paris Saint Germain that started this game. So I knew it was going to be a tough game. I knew we were going to struggle. That's why I predicted a 2-1. A 2-1 is basically Lille do their job, we do our job, but we do it slightly better and get that 2-1. And that's, what the game was looking like. I knew we were going to get a goal towards the end. Nuno Mendes with an absolute majestic free kick, putting it top bins. And then we had, Hakimi had a good chance, Kang Lee had a good chance. And then, they cut us open and score from that goal. We tried to push towards the end, but we don't manage to get the winner. And as I said towards the end of my post-match, honestly, look, you're obviously going to drop points in the league. Even last season, we drew some games. We obviously lost 2 games towards the end. But yes, we haven't started off Ligue this season as impressively as we've done before. But we're still sitting first. And you got to remember, Paris Saint-Germain had a really tough... This is not excuses. This is me... I always look at the bigger picture. And I'm not... Obviously, I always want us to win. I'm mad when we don't win. But out of all games, this was a little bit predictable. A bit like the Marseille game. Playing with such a depleted 11. Lille coming with good form as well. Beating AS Roma in the Europa League 1-0. And I mean, even if they won, they would have been part of this top 6 here in Ligue 1. But we're still sitting first of the league. We won the UEFA Super Cup. We won our first 2 Champions League games, with one of them being a very tough game versus Barca. So in the bigger picture, I'm not that worried. But obviously, the performances have to step up in the league. I mean, we haven't even scored the most goals in Ligue 1 this season. Marseille have scored more, Strasbourg have scored more, Monaco have scored more, and Lille have scored more. And that makes sense, with majority of our best attacking players being out for these 7 games so far. A lot of rotation, a lot of resting, and so on. But even I felt Luis Enrique rested a little bit too much. I understood the Vitinha one. Vitinha started every single game, but he should have started at least one of the 2 fullbacks, maybe starting Zabarni as well, even though it wasn't like Beraldo cost us the game or something. Talking individual about the player, Chevalier, good game apart from that goal. And look, I posted it on Twitter. People said, it's Beraldo's fault, opening up his legs and so on, but Chevalier got to do better. It's completely unacceptable. And it's not just this mistake. It's the mistake after mistake after mistake. This is not the first Chevalier mistake we've seen. And when you put this alongside the Marseille mistake, alongside the Atalanta mistake, it looks questionable. He should be saving these shots. There are 3 types of shots. There's shots, the goalkeeper can't save. There's shots he should be saving. He should be saving these. Tight moments in the game. So just imagine this is a Champions League team. We're up 1-0. We have control of the game. They get an opening, a big chance. Like Arsenal, when we played Arsenal with Emirates. We were 1-0 up. We had control of the game. And then pop. They had that Martinelli, and then pop in second half, that Trossard chance. Donnarumma stepped up and saved both. Chevalier. You gotta... It's not acceptable, man. Warren Zaire-Emery, man, captain of the game as well. It's so sad. He's shown so many small baby steps, improving on, his previous 1.5 season at PSG so far this season. But then it all goes back to this game. All the steps he took forward, all of the steps went back in this game. It was a Warren, performance from the past. Bad with the ball, bad without the ball, not good enough defensively, not confident. which is a huge problem because you have to understand we've given Warren a lot of responsibility. Captain armband, high wage, which means we have high expectations of him. That's why I would never accept any of the, oh, he's playing right wing back, oh, he's 19 years of age. There's a reason we gave him all of that responsibility, is to pay us back. A little bit like Mbappe. We gave Mbappe so much in the hope that he was going to pay us back. And Warren so far is not paying back. And it's not okay. A lot of people say I'm very critical of Warren. I am. I'm proud of that. And I will continue to do so. Because I always expect high stuff at PSG. A player like Gonçalo, I don't expect stuff. Because I know his ass. He's never shown me any glimpses of being a good football player. This dude, though, gave us 3-4 months of an insane... I still think Warren is the youngest player to receive 2 Man of the Match awards in the Champions League. To becoming absolutely mid. Lucas Hernandez, very happy with Lucas. Hopefully he can keep this consistently. But very good game from Lucas. It was very important in that first half. Pacho, as Tosin said, the best centre-back in the world. Another great game from William Pacho. Top player, man. Beraldo, it was a decent game from Beraldo, but defensively got cooked too easily. And that's my issue. If we're going into a big Champions League game, and both Zabarni and Marquinhos are injured, and we got to play Pacho and Beraldo, I'm not confident in Beraldo. And that's a big problem, because they're backups that I'm confident in. I was confident with Mayulo as the false 9. Beraldo, I'm not confident if we're going into a big game with how easily he gets cooked. Kangin Lee, shout out to Luchu, trying him out in the 6th position. And we basically got both sides of it. We got the 5 chances created, the most in the game. But we also got an error leading to a goal, which is the reason the number 6 position is the hardest and most difficult position on the pitch. Because if you make a mistake, it will cost you. But honestly, it was a very bad mistake from Kang, but I want to look more at his overall performance, and Kang had a good game. He was part of many opportunities, impactful, playing as the 6th and playing a bit more offensive when Vitinha came on. I hope Luis Enrique keeps trying Kangin Lee whenever Vitinha wants to be arrested or is injured. Play Kangin Lee as the 6th. I think that's the best way at the moment for him to get spots at PSG. You know, before it was right wing, we moved into offensive 8, and now we're moving all the way back to 6. Sin Mayulo. Good game from Mayulo, impactful in moments and so on, not making any mistakes either. And Mbaye, keep it going. Mbaye, both him and Njanto, we just want to see the progression continue. These are youngsters. I'm not going to put expectations on them. Quite the opposite. There is no expectation. Anything good they do is positive. And even when they do bad stuff, it's part of the learning curve. So Mbaye and Njanto, keep it going, and I love that Luis Enrique puts trust and faith in the 2 youngsters. But then we come to this dude, man. Bradley Barcola. You're on a pitch with Gonçalo Ramos and Njanto and Mbaye, a 17 and an 18-year-old and someone that cannot play football at the high level. But still you embarrass us offensively. You're supposed to take responsibility. It's a bit like Beraldo, what I said. If Marquinhos is up on here injured for a big game, I can't trust in Beraldo. And it's coming to that point with Barcola now. If we're missing the Dembus, the Khvicha, the Due, and Barcola has to start a big game, I can't trust in Barcola anymore. He showed me zero trust in the Atalanta and Barca game, and showed me zero trust once again in this game. That 1v1 opportunity he had where he just takes a bunch of ass touches and then puts it wide. I mean, it's completely embarrassing. And then Gonçalo, I won't do that much. It's just the normal stuff I expect from Gonçalo Ramos. It feels like before I had to attack Gonçalo more because of the blind defenders and blind followers, but it definitely feels like there are no blind followers for Gonçalo Ramos. It feels like every person has understood he is a very limited player and should not be playing at Paris Saint Germain. When he comes off the bench, I'm happy. When he starts games, we're playing with 10 men. We definitely played with 10 men in this game because he did absolutely nothing. Shout out to Lille. They were good this game. This Fernando's Pardo guy, he looked good. Bentaleb, Andre, doing their stuff in the midfield. But as I said, to end off this game, it was predictable this was going to be a very tough game. Coming up against Lille, who are coming confident into this game. Paris Saint Germain already focusing on the international break. And then we played a heavy rotated squad. But what needs to happen from PSG is very simple. When we come back from the international break, absolutely no jokes. 17th of October until the 9th of November, we have 2 games every single week. Strasbourg, Brest, Lorient, Nice, and Lyon in the league. Lyon away, Brest away, Strasbourg at home, Lorient away, and Nice at home. We got to win every single game, maybe apart from one. Because, you know, Marseille, they're picking up points. It's not like I'm scared about Ligue 1. We always got to respect Ligue 1 in the sense of we can't go, oh, we're going to win it. Yes, we're most likely going to win Ligue 1 once again. But the season could be tougher. So we got to pick up points and we got to look impressive. As I've said, we've not scored the most goals in Ligue 1. Where's the table? We've not scored the most goals. And even defensively, 5, just like Marseille and just like Lyon. So that is something we definitely have to improve on. Second best goal difference in the league. What was that I looked at? Yeah, we just got to pick up. And then obviously the big Champions League games I'm less worried about because it's like we peak in the UCL all the time. Like this game, yeah, it's stat pad session and then a tough victory here versus Bayern. But we got to improve in the league because the level has not been good enough, even though there are valuable excuses for like injuries, missing players and so on. That's been it from boy PSG, and hopefully guys, you enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez Paris.